I'd like to take a moment before we draw into the careful logical analysis of the argumentation within the Euthyphro, just to make sure that you understand background and deal with other sorts of issues unrelated to the philosophy involved, because that'll take us some time and attention, and I don't want to be distracted by anything else. So we'll start with open questioning on anything that confused you, any part of the backstory, or anything having to do with Socrates, Euthyphro that you did not understand. Olivia?
Okay, are they in a cell or something?
No, they are standing on the porch of the courthouse, basically. So they're out in sort of a court square area.
Oh, because when they're talking about, like, one's prosecuting one, like, being prosecuted, I thought, like, they were, like, in a cell together just chilling.
Nope, they are in a court square on the steps of the Archon's palace, waiting for their time to go into the court. Euthyphro, of course, to prosecute his father, and Socrates to be prosecuted. So Euthyphro prosecuting dad on what charge?
Murder.
Murder. Who did dad murder? A servant who was guilty of murder. So a servant who had murdered somebody else is left in a ditch, basically bound, while dad tries to get word from the town to what to do. And during that time, the servant dies of exposure. So through willful neglect, Euthyphro believes that his father has murdered this servant, and he's prosecuting his father for that. Socrates is being prosecuted by Miletus, we already mentioned. On what charge? Yes? Corrupting the youth. Specifically how?
Ideas.
What type of ideas are corruptive in nature?
Democratic, like that. Questioning everything.
True, but there's something else that seems kind of strange and might not make sense to you.
Doesn't he say that, like, he's saying there's newer, or, like, other gods that are
The corruption is impiety. He's corrupting the youth by holding up false gods, by contradicting the commands of the true gods of Greece. So yes, Ibby, you're correct. He's corrupting the youth, but specifically how? Through actions which are heretical, blasphemous, and impious. And he stands on the courthouse steps and thinks, Euthyphro, wow, you know so much about piety. I'm about to defend my life on a charge of impiety. Tell me what piety is so that can help me out in my defense. Thus we have the motivation for the discussion. Socrates wants to defend himself, and of course Euthyphro is prosecuting based upon grounds that he believes are pious grounds. Ibby.
Did Socrates really, like, make up new gods?
Okay. Socrates had a nasty habit of talking to a little thing that he called a demon, and demon doesn't have the same resonance for the Greeks that it did for us, but he believed that there was some sort of supernatural advisor to him. And yeah, you could say a conscience. It's kind of like that devil and angel on the shoulder that you sometimes see depicted, except this one only told him specifically when not to do something. So he was about to do something, and his demon said, "Don't do that." And he said, "Okay, I shouldn't do this." That's part of the wackiness of Socrates. And he, of course, had no shyness or shame in expressing this. So when Miletus brings this charge, one of his pieces of evidence will be Socrates talking to the mysterious supernatural force on his shoulder. Right? But of course, we know that the primary motivation for this is political in nature. That the demon to which Socrates refers is weak evidence, not enough to kill this guy. He's not holding up any gods against the Athenian state. The demon is Miletus's evidence. But he's not acting in any sort of blasphemous fashion. What he's doing is questioning in such a way that he is criticizing the Athenian society. And we know that that's politically dangerous. Other questions for background? Anything you didn't understand about the story? Let's settle. Go ahead, Ibby.
There was this one part that it was like, it was really confusing. It was like, to love and like seeing that one
thing depended on the other?
Oh, that is very that's part of the argument, and it's rather tricky, and it's probably the trickiest part of the argument. We'll address that carefully in just a moment. Okay?
Is it kind of like what I was like?
Yes. Let's talk about